Elimination round 1 action on the cards. TSM up against FaZe Clan. Two teams, no strangers to making it to winners finals. And it's particularly with TSM, Dan, a team at a World Championships who made it to that winners finals. We are going to lose to one of these heavyweights at the top 12 stage of the World Championships.
Yeah, kind of crazy when you look at the names on this main stage that someone will be walking out of this building eliminated from the competition at top 12. And there's the series layout. That's how it's looking. And just at first glances and what I've seen backstage, it's an okay series layout for TSM. It's not dreadful. I think it gets pretty bad at games 4 and 5, especially when you look at the Slayer record for FaZe that the desk was talking about as well. So for me, it has to be these opening 2. Lattice, always still a bit of a 50-50 toss-up for me. No one seems to have really got this one down to a T. So if TSM can somehow sneak this away from FaZe Clan, perhaps that could be the perfect way to start this series and maybe, just maybe, pull off an incredible upset.
Two teams that have stumbled in pool play. TSM finding themselves in an elimination bracket, placing 3rd in their pool. FaZe Clan losing Game 5 to Cloud9, losing Game 5 to Shopify Rebellion. The shields are up, the weapons are hot, we're underway here.
And that's a great point you bring up. Both teams are going to be pretty annoyed about how they find themselves in the elimination round 1 here. TSM losing out to Complexity yesterday, especially after the changes that were made from TSM side. That one would have very much hurt. And FaZe Clan coming so close just now, progressing through into winners round 2 and doing the unthinkable of taking down Rebellion. Who wants it more here? Who is hungrier after being sent down to this elimination bracket?
And I guess the question is, what side of FaZe are we going to see here? Are they going to be irritated about what happened? Are they going to be downtrodden? Is this the best possible time for TSM to match up against FaZe Clan?
We'll keep an eye on TriPPPeY and Druk here in this first game. They've been the standouts when it comes to finding kills on these oddball games, but as always, it's Pznguin who usually is the one who is going and grabbing that ball. We might have seen early time from Lucid here, but Pznguin has always been one of those objectively focused players, constantly looking to see whether he can find that ball in a good place.
Taulek then brings the ball inside blue.
Enemy has the ball.
And they have a little bit of a setup. Not too comfortable though. Lucid gets the opening pick. Manny and SoulSnipe fall. 3 dead now as Taulek joins them to the respawn screen. Lucid picks up a double kill. Manny's grenade gets sent back from whence it came. Lucid's in big trouble here, but the damage has already been done. Pznguin has his hands on that ball down.
TSM have been struggling at finding ball time so far this tournament in general. So it's going to be a tough one for them. Manny has been the player who's mainly picked up the ball for them. I think he has over 50% of their time. So if Manny isn't finding the time, I'd be a little bit concerned here for TSM. You need to get him in good positions. You need to be really supporting him in that aspect so that he can play the way he wants.
Nice early start for FaZe. And for indeed Lucid, 5-0-2. They spoke about it on the desk. You want the best performances from FaZe Clan. You need Lucid firing on all cylinders. We've seen that in the last series. The rest of his teammates need to join him. Double kill now for SoulSnipe. And they should get some ball time along with it.
Yeah, ball time. And a QT to go alongside it as well. SoulSnipe has been spotted out, but now can try and put this to use. Does get the kill alongside it. Those are the kind of individual gunfights you need to be winning here against FaZe to just try and beat down a little bit of that confidence yet again. Yes, it's an early lead for FaZe, but TSM need to understand that you're never out until you are truly out here. And after the comebacks that we've already seen on the main stage today, TSM maybe can go for something along those lines.
Enemy has the ball.
It's also important to note this is TSM's first series of the day. FaZe Clan have already had that warm-up, if you will. And although it was a tough Game 5 loss, for at moments the game was really in their hands. The series was in their hands. Looking to make no mistakes here against TSM.
FaZe doing very well at trying to force TSM off of the power positions at the moment, not letting Taulek escape here. And TriPPPeY just on the hunt and will shut him down immediately, and good timing. Sniper rifle's coming up, that's why Taulek was positioning himself there. And now TriPPPeY's probably going to be the one who reaps the rewards here.
TriPPPeY scoops it up, lines up, Druk! Sayonara, Manny goes down as well. SoulSnipe's trying to rotate the ball away, just make sure that when his teammates spawn back up, there's not too much to deal with. Taulek's gonna have to be forced to back down. Lucid gets one. Taulek will just about get the better of TriPPPeY. Sniper rifle now down. That information will be passed along to his teammates.
Good time though again from FaZe Clan. That ball was kind of run towards them. They knew exactly the route that TSM were going to be taking. Were able to cut it off quite comfortably. And now this is SnakeBite at his very best as well. Just trying to manipulate this map in his favor to try and keep the ball as far away as he can, but sadly the spawns didn't go in their favor. And this one is not done by any means. The TSM can get a proper setup here. 3 or 4 down on the side of FaZe and they found a sniper rifle. I think Taulek just got eyes on it there. If they get hold of that and they find themselves in this position, they could be in a great spot to get some time back, but TriPPPeY denies Taulek.
Taulek may have had his eyes firmly set on his crosshair and didn't actually catch. He'd stepped over the sniper rifle. There's a little goodie down there. Maybe he can go scavenging. Looks as though it may have just despawned though, as SoulSnipe wasn't able to find it. Ball's in a neutral position. Nobody really close to get hands on. Good damage being done across the map. Druk goes down. SoulSnipe though, he's starting to be a little bit of a nuisance. 3 dead unofficially for FaZe for just a moment. Taulek gets a double kill, and that means now TSM hands on the ball and eating away at that lead.
Taulek has been a standout player for TSM so far, statistically anyway. Is always up there, leading KD for this squad, and for good reason. I mean, if you think back at the Halo Infinite history for this roster, and you mentioned it, you know, they've made it to a Championship Sunday, they've made it to a Winners Bracket final all those years ago. This exact team, Taulek was at the very forefront of it as an incredible slayer. But he also has to do it alongside everyone else. They all need to be helping each other in different areas. They can't allow FaZe to just dominate certain setups. So when FaZe do get set up, that's when they're very deadly.
I want to talk about incredible players, just how close this is between these two teams. Only 1 kill separates both. FaZe Clan just have 1 kill advantage, but how many points they have on the board. Playing this one expertly and really ensuring when they get control of the map, they're making TSM pay. They're extracting maximum value every single time they get a setup. TSM have maybe 1 more opportunity to break this setup here. And with Lucid sitting top catwalk, just putting out damage, TSM, they might run out of time here. They might not be able to cover the distance. SnakeBite happily nurses this ball in his hands, and he should and will get the final point on the board. FaZe Clan go 1 round to the good.
So FaZe Clan strike first, and maybe that's going to be a good confidence builder after being knocked down into this elimination bracket, but you called it. It was just the important times that FaZe were setting up. They were getting kills at the right moment when sniper rifle was spawning and stuff like that. So TSM, maybe if they could just get a couple of kills to go in their favor at the right time, perhaps time their pushes a little bit better, maybe they can find a round back into this one.
Great damage being put down. SnakeBite gets 1, but gets traded out. 3 dead for FaZe Clan. The opening break does favor TSM. Thruster pack for Taulek to use, get himself out of dodge if he needs to. FaZe now spawning across the map. This should be and will be a decent hold for TSM. The opening pick again off the break goes to Druk and to indeed TSM. So a lot of work for FaZe to do here. Sniper rifle still on the map. Lucid gets a perfect 5 kill.
I think you can stay ahead in a good position here as TSM keep FaZe on this split spawn, but they have been able to group up. FaZe recognizing they didn't want to find themselves in that spot where TSM had angles on them, but that's one way to stop a setup. Give a sniper rifle to Pznguin.
Warning shot down bottom middle. SnakeBite was there though. Oh, just lined up Druk and was waiting to drop out of the air, but waited too long. That meant that Druk was able to get the kills. Sniper rifle no longer a factor, at least for now. SnakeBite's brought the ball all the way down to lower ice. So a long way away from the ball is TSM. Manny's last man alive for his team, but he has to wait for his teammates to spawn back up. Pznguin goes right the way back to the point of the crime, and he picks a sniper rifle back up again.
I do wonder what the mentality is like, particularly on TSM, because when you think about their history as a team, the fact that this squad, you know, disbanded, then got back together, it was all about the chemistry, it was all about being best friends, and they could be on the brink of elimination at top 12, which would be a very bitter end to their Halo Infinite campaign. And it's very easy to have that in the back of your head when you start a series of like, come on, we don't want to lose this, we don't want to go out like this. And if suddenly your brain power is all towards where you should or shouldn't be placing, maybe you're not thinking about his setups as well as you could be. So that's where you need someone to step up and make sure you're focused.
The mind really is a powerful thing. If you let those negative thoughts creep in and take a hold, all of a sudden you're worrying about the plays you're not making rather than the ones you can, the opportunities you're missing. Pznguin takes the sniper rifle out of his back pocket. SoulSnipe slides forward. FaZe Clan go forward. Dead. More opportunity for TSM to put some distance between them and FaZe. Eating away at that lead now.
Yeah, FaZe do need to be careful they don't give too many opportunities to TSM that he's setting up here, because eventually TSM are going to crack it. They're going to get that perfect setup that they've been looking for.
Enemy has the ball.
FaZe are doing well, at least off spawn, to distract a couple of players so they can make that flank, and it is successful, and they've managed to get 2 down here.
This round's been very mixy, as was the last. 3v3 on the map for a moment, as Druk now rejoins his teammates. Manny goes down, and for FaZe, they find themselves in the back court here despite having that slender lead.
And I said I was wondering about the mentality of TSM, where we can get maybe an idea of what the mentality of FaZe Clan's like right now. Let's jump into a quick listen in with FaZe Clan and see what they think.
Oh, A-box, A-box, BJ. Wait, he's 3 shots right there.
Oh, absolutely. I think. Wait, did I not see that?
Trying to go,
Mike's tripping. Yo, blue cat sniping on ball.
Who's on me?
Redwood
Going
point.
into. I traded with
Ice kill. Ice kill.
Red, blue lobby.
Danger.
Blue Manda, I think. Tommy blue, guys, Tommy blue.
You want.
You guys crypto.
Go on, guys.
Going out, blue elbow snipe. Blue elbow snipe.
Yeah.
He's watching from us.
He's red then.
That's one car one.
Top it. Going front yellow.
Still blue elbow. Yeah, I'm fighting ball.
Still blue
Yo,
elbow.
repulse, go repulse. One shot for red. One shot pistol. Pistol.
Top it.
That's one kill by elbow. Elbow sniping. We go towards ball, guys. Trying to. R1's open. You want sniping Mando or something? Back blue sniping.
There's a quantum down, guys.
One trying to come. He's Walshy.
What's top mid sniping?
He said from boxes. Drug center. One shot repulse. One shot guy on repulse. You guys weak. Levi's chicken.
No, but it's a lot of call-outs about where players are, but no real strategy at the moment for FaZe Clan. How they're actually going to break TSM here. I think they're just expecting they find those kills and they should be able to break naturally, but TSM slowly trickling towards taking a round here, Shirts.
Really trying to rely on gun skill, blunt force. At the moment, it's TSM navigating this round much the better. Taulek has the sniper rifle. Lucid's going to drop down, no shields. Killing frenzy for Taulek. He might be able to get one more, and does. Double kill for Taulek, and TSM needed that round massive.
I said how important he is. He's always at the forefront of TSM in this roster, and when Taulek does start to get hot and firing, it is difficult to compete against him, and that is warning signs here for FaZe. Like I said, they can't afford too many easy setups going in favor of TSM. FaZe were quite slow about some of their pushes. They were quite rightly waiting for extra players to spawn and saying, you know, let's take our time, we don't need to rush. But there was a couple of times they probably could have moved a second or two faster. And again, that just comes down to it being one of the newer maps in the layout that we have here. And you can hear it from their comms. It was a lot of just who is where, who's one shot, and very little strategy that was coming through. Of course, we were only taking from a section of that listening that we were able to jump into. But it doesn't feel like FaZe are truly comfortable here on this map.
And you spoke about this team getting back together. The power of friendship. That was almost a meme that was being used, but it's really them trying to recapture the form and recapture the success that they have found.
Goodness.
And this season has been very much one of disappointment for them. They feel like they belong in every single championship Sunday, but for whatever reason, they found themselves falling by top 6, top 8. That's not where they want to be. That's not where they feel they belong. And a result here, what a statement that will be against FaZe Clan.
Well, now I'm just imagining them with friendship rings and they're putting their fists together and yeah, friendship. But tell you what, if it works, it works. Right now, whatever Taulek is doing, he needs to just more of the same. Sadly, does eventually get shut down by TriPPPeY, but already 28 kills, 14 deaths. He is the man of the moment right now. FaZe ideally need to slow him down, but it's very difficult to try and pinpoint an individual on this map in general in Halo Infinite. So we'll have to see whether FaZe Clan could just answer back in their own way by maybe someone stepping up.
You mentioned before this game got going, it's almost a coin flip. What team does it favor? It was really 50-50, and we're seeing that with one round apiece. TSM in this third round, edging it ever so closely though. SnakeBite on our screens now, currently sitting at 18, 6 and 16. Trying to have an output here. Putting down a lot of damage. 4 dead for TSM. Now is the chance for FaZe Clan to get a setup.
They also need to start thinking about when that next sniper rifle comes up, not allowing TSM to get it so comfortably. It has been the difference maker. But sometimes on ladders, especially oddball here, it can just be down to one player playing out of their minds, and that is Taulek right now, creating that difference. But all it has generated is a 20-point difference right now. And if FaZe start to really slow TSM down, if FaZe start to heat up a little bit, you worry, is Taulek's individual ability going to be enough here? There needs to be a little bit more strategy about it.
Incredible damage put down by Pznguin, gets 2 kills, makes a third player no shields. rest of his teammates had all fallen around him. TriPPPeY was the last man standing. Managed to get the ball into a precarious position to slow the push and ensure that TSM have to step out a little bit further than maybe they would have wanted to secure it. Snipe rifle is up as well, and SnakeBite is there. SoulSnipe and Taulek combined to get that kill and clear him out. There be moments now. Both teams acutely aware of what this series means, because either one of them bowing out here would be a disaster.
And even though FaZe being outslayed at the moment by about 10 kills, it is not the end of the world. Not a single player on FaZe Clan has had a higher than 1.0 KD on oddball so far this tournament. They've been happily finding success just through strategy and setups, but Lucid needs to get that off the map, and he does just about put it out of the hands of TSM. That was important.
Sniper rifle into the drink. It's no longer playable. But it's TSM who still have hands on the ball. You spoke about how you expected Manny to be the one with it in his hands, but SoulSnipe at 85 seconds, Druk with 63. They're really sharing the load. Killing spree locked in for Taulek once more. That's a frenzy and a killing spree. FaZe have got to find a way to shut this man down.
What did Taulek have for breakfast is what everyone will be asking if he doesn't. If he is able to close out this series in this manner. But it isn't closed out yet. Again, still only a 20-point difference. 1 minute 45 on the clock now. It's starting to run out a little bit of time here for FaZe, and I said they were a little bit slow in the previous round. They will have to naturally start speeding things up here, otherwise it is just going to slip through their fingers.
A lot of work to be done. So far, so good for TSM.
Enemy has the ball.
Taulek down to no shields. He backs away.
Ball dropped.
Ventures out now. Two of his teammates in the respawn screen. FaZe have the numbers advantage, and they now have the ball. It's in the hand of
Enemy
SnakeBite.
has the ball.
Taulek continues to try and find some picks, get some information for his team. He's looking towards Pznguin, who's down to a couple of shots on his shields. Manages to pop those shields, and he's going to try and chase the kill now. Manny, though, he was there to get it. So it's a 4v3 in the map.
Enemy has the
The
ball.
FaZe Clan's hold looks good for now. SoulSnipe gets one on the SnakeBite. The ball has been played, so FaZe Clan are quite happy with the points they put on the board.
The sheer presence there from Taulek, though, happily just walking his way, marauding his way through the middle of the map, really fearless. And it created so much space for the rest of the team because I think 3 members of FaZe Clan had eyes on Taulek then. And then they lost 2 off the back of it. But now as that ball does get back in the hands of FaZe Clan, just like that, that lead that TSM have worked so hard all game long suddenly has been ripped away from them, and it's going to be FaZe Clan taking the lead very shortly here.
Ball dropped.
Time's going to start to play a massive factor as well. With 48 seconds, Snipe Rifle has now just popped up. TriPPPeY is over there.
That's big.
But he's a floor below. He needs to find himself a way to get some elevation. A couple of members of FaZe Clan in the trenches here, fighting back to back. Taulek and Pznguin settle for trades. SnakeBite elsewhere gets a kill. 3 dead now for TSM. And as we head towards the end game, FaZe Clan in the ascendancy.
Yeah, they come right in when they needed to, and I love the play in the trenches as well. You have to force TSM into you, where they put themselves in vulnerable positions if they want to take that ball away from you. And now FaZe have got the lead, and that sniper is still up there. Now, TriPPPeY is not going to probably go for it just yet because he'll be too vulnerable himself. Instead, might be able to bait it a little bit here, but right now it's just about ball time. Now you play it, and now you think about, right, do I try and play the sniper rifle as well? He's going to opt for the no on that one.
You know that sniper rifle was whispering sweet nothings to him as well. Flirting with him. He decided instead play the ball, and maybe playing the sniper rifle would have been the play as well. We'll see if that comes back to bite them in the ass. SoulSnipe's got it. Shields popped onto Lucid. Pznguin's in it between a rock and a hard place as TSM collapse. 10 seconds remain, but TSM have got to get hands on the ball, and they've got to be a perfect hold here. One break from FaZe Clan will secure the map.
Yeah, it looked like the ball was trickling away from them there. They just couldn't get their hands on it, and that could be valuable time that they are giving away. But that sniper rifle being in the hands of SoulSnipe now, it not being played, like you said, it could come to bite them in the backside if SoulSnipe can start hitting some shots here.
A couple of warning shots being fired off. SoulSnipe trying to find the angles, but he's a little bit uncomfortable. As Pznguin gets his shields popped, but the damage is done. The setup is broken, and FaZe Clan secure map 1. Deadlock broken.
Didn't look pretty. It was a grind on both sides, but all that matters is it's 1-0 on the side of FaZe, and they can start looking towards maps that they're a little bit more comfortable on from what I've seen so far from them this season. As for TSM, There's going to be a little bit of frustration with how close they got, especially the lead they were holding for that entire game 3, just thrown away in one setup, and that is where FaZe are dangerous. FaZe are a team who, when they get locked in, when they find that perfect position, they punish you. And they went for something a little bit unorthodox. The trench setup is not something you always typically see. Usually it's a last-ditch attempt to try and get a little bit of scrappy ball time, but they all played it perfectly together, invited TSM, they invited the pressure, and then they punished them down in the trench. They almost didn't want to allow TSM to be in a position where if they broke the setup, they would then find themselves in one naturally. Instead, if they did break, they would have been in a vulnerable spot themselves.
That's interesting, right? You think if you've got 2 opposition members inside the trench, you think they're exactly where they want them to be. We throw a couple of grenades in there, we get a cleanup of a couple of kills. But when they're down there, you have got to expose yourself to so many lines of sight to try and clear those players out. And that's exactly the bait that FaZe Clan did, and they executed it to perfection.
How are you feeling if you get 36 kills and you still lose the game? That's a difficult pill to swallow. You outslayed the entirety of FaZe Clan by 16 kills in your TSM here. But as I said, so far this tournament, FaZe have not had one player go above 1.0 KD up to this point on Oddball, but they still find a way to get it done. And it's because of the players that they have on that roster. You look at the likes of SnakeBite, Pznguin, 2 incredible objective players who just know exactly what to do, where to be, how to position themselves, but then they grew into support players, then into just sometimes main slayers as well. And then you add in the likes of TriPPPeY and Lucid, and this FaZe Clan roster has just been getting better and better every single time we've seen them, and that's why they came so bloody close against TriPPPPeY Rebellion just then. And I don't think that FaZe will be at all prepared to be dropping out of the tournament at this point. I don't even think it will be a consideration in their mind. On the flip side for TSM, it will be a worry. They know full well they might be able to find themselves getting eliminated here. If you can take a look at some of the map records, and that was map 4 that I was talking about, shows. Livefire Strongholds gets ugly, as we have seen FaZe dominate it all season long. However, for TSM, when you look at Recharge Slayer, when you look at Aquarius CTF, they don't look like bad statistics. At the same time, you're in a position now where you've just allowed FaZe to win the game when they're getting outslayed, when you're getting hammered at times. And you look at the amount of objective games there is there for them. I mean, that CTF, I would probably say FaZe is going to win it. So, Recharge Slayer, it's a big one here for TSM. It is kind of that feeling of go hard or go home.
One thing's for sure, one of these teams will be going home come the end of this series. And it'll be a miserable, disappointing World Championships experience for both teams. You'll no doubt, both these teams with different ambitions. Maybe for TSM, it was just making it to yet another Sunday. For FaZe Clan, it's lifting the gold, being world champions. It's still all to play for here. TSM, backs to the walls. This Slayer is huge.
And making it to Sunday, I mean, it's going to be a very different championship Sunday with best of 7s as well that we're going to have here in Seattle. And for TSM, you know, there's that what if. What if back when we got to winners finals, elimination finals in the World Championship a few years ago, what if they were best of 7s? Well, the only way you can find out is you do it again here this weekend. But it's going to be a tall order, especially with that one just slipping through their fingers. I wonder whether maybe this is going to be too tall a task here for TSM.
SoulSnipe gets dispatched by Pznguin. Still a little bit of camouflage to play with, and Pznguin now has information of exactly where those 2 players are positioned over towards blue. 2 players down to no shield, but Pznguin's trying to play this one passively, trying to play it patient, and waiting for his teammates to spawn back up, trying to prioritize staying alive. Unsuccessful on this occasion, but buying his team just enough time to rotate around the map and take some control.
TriPPPeY has been one of the standout players for FaZe Clan when it comes to their Slayer game types, even though they haven't found as much success this tournament, especially with the 2 losses that Clutch was talking about. They want to get back onto that form. They want to be a team that people fear going up against in Slayers. They want to look at that record and be like, okay, we don't want to be going to a game 5 against FaZe here. But after losing back-to-back ones against TriPPPPeY Rebellion, suddenly that takes a little bit of wind out of your sails. So this is going to be the perfect way for them to perhaps just start to generate a little bit more wind.
And not only that, just the complexion of being the team that's one of the best, if not the best Slayer team in the league. When you see that team dropping a couple of Slayers at the World Championships, all of a sudden TSM have a little bit more confidence than maybe they should have.
Yeah, you think that FaZe, they can actually bleed. You can take them down here. And one thing we know about TSM is historically they have always been pretty impressive force when it comes to Slayers. Remember some very impactful moments over the years, especially in Game 5s that TSM were able to close out, and we've seen the likes of Taulek roaring across the main stage. But are they going to be able to find that same form here today? I mean, if Taulek can play like he did in Game 1, it's certainly going to give them a damn good chance, but it's going to be very difficult to find that kind of play because he was really on firing all cylinders.
His hands might be nice and hot to wind up the bird at some point from the end of the series. We've seen him hit the emote wheel pretty heavy. And that's the kind of passion that you expect from TSM, particularly when things are going right. They're one of the best momentum teams. When things are going their way, they can really make it a difficult and miserable day for you. SnakeBite inside tower, he settles for a trade. So the numbers favor FaZe here. The camouflage is shimmering in the background as Lucid gets a killing spree and Pznguin appears to have the camouflage.
I do think it's one of the difficult things when you go up against a team like FaZe or Optic or Shopify. It's hard to get into their heads. When you watch maybe the top 6, top 8 teams competing, all it takes is one player popping off, getting loud, and you do notice a little bit of a difference in some of those players where they maybe want to avoid a couple of gunfights, or maybe they're scared to take certain routes because that player has been shutting them down. Whereas the mentality is just far stronger on the top 3 teams for me.
It is always fascinating, the difference between communications on teams. You know, for TSM, if you hear them loud in the comms, the performances are usually going their way. For FaZe, it's always cool, calm, and collected. Emotion is something that we don't really highlight all too often. FaZe Clan, though, so far business is going pretty good. 3-kill lead after losing a couple of players over towards blue. Is this the opening now for TSM to get a couple more and close the gap?
Yeah, they found 3 there. They're going to be on split spawns now. They actually need to hunt down this last remaining player in pipes. But Pznguin was able to spawn that long haul, which actually is the perfect spawn they could have got because it just gave crossfire available to them. Now TSM, even though they tried to pinch, but tell you what, it did work out, but SnakeBite does clean up a little bit, but that's a brilliant stick just to make this 22-22 now. So a nice response here from TSM.
SoulSnipe drops the elbow and then sticks the grenade in SnakeBite's toes. Good for 2. And now we have to see what FaZe Clan are made of, and they're putting the back foot here on recharge. So often they've seen success in the Slayers, but they've been shaky, they've been wobbly this tournament. And a real opportunity now for TSM to tie up the series.
It would be quite worrying going forward if FaZe were to drop more Slayers, especially against a team that they would consider themselves superior against, but that being said, TSM is no easy opponent. SoulSnipe needs to be careful he doesn't overextend without support here as well, because TriPPPeY is definitely waiting, trying to set a trap a little bit. Man, he's got camouflage. It's looking pretty good for TSM right now, but there's a lot of responsibility for Manny to do something.
Manny's lost a couple of teammates as well.
He's lost all 3 of them.
Now he's got to play this one patiently. This only burns into his camouflage. He's got to try and isolate a player here. And he's managed to do so with TriPPPeY. He's let him slip by, and he's communicated it now to his teammates. But he's getting all this information, but he's not able to put down any damage. He's just watching his teammates die as he walks around.
He's just literally walking around the map, just seeing the kill feed going in favor of FaZe Clan and not really being able to do anything bar give information. But the information was arriving, but it just wasn't enough for TSM to actually do anything with it. Because once they knew a player was coming around the corner, the kill had already been had. The only benefit is Manny has been able to find himself in a position where he is behind enemy lines here, so it does eventually pay off. Sadly, it was for about 4 or 5 deaths going the other way, but they are still only down by 2. We are going to see a shock rifle in the hands of Manny now. Again, still a lot of responsibility here. 2 and 6 right now. We need to see Manny pick up some kills to try and bring his team up here.
Crosshair, train over towards top gold. Hoping to find a snake. He's wriggled away down the stairs. Pznguin's long haul. FaZe Clan happy to slow this one down. Manny finds one. Lines up TriPPPeY, but the headshot just missed. It was enough to tickle the shields, and that will mean TriPPPeY will force to back away. Manny now will look to take top elevator control. Getting information for his team, firing another shot, but just not able to find the face. It's a 2-kill game here.
Finding that first one, though, huge confidence builder here for Manny and the rest of the squad. A 2-kill lead. Game suddenly slows down. FaZe recognizing that TSM are in too good a position to be just pushing out willy-nilly here. There needs to be a plan of action, and it looks like it's going to be a control push right now. The nades come across top. Oh, but it's denied instantly by Manny.
Manny might not be done just yet. Shield looking quite low, but doing a lot of damage. That's the perfect exchange for TSM. Now find themselves 4 kills to the good. Rotates now towards Whirlpool. SnakeBite bides his time over towards Long Haul. Not interested in stepping out for now. Engaging with SoulSnipe. Manny just waiting patiently.
Enemy team nearing victory.
The players and the fights are not coming his way. He's got to get a little bit more proactive with this weapon. Pznguin spots him out, that information is passed along, and Manny falls with the shock rifle, but still a 4-kill lead.
It was such an important shot that Manny hit, by the way, for that push. Had he missed that, it could have been an entirely different scenario here for FaZe Clan. They might have found themselves tied up, they might have had control, but it's all ifs and buts after a shot like that is popped. Speaking of popping, SnakeBite has popped the camouflage and maybe has a chance to try and rescue this game because it's slowly slipping away from them here. TSM only 7 away from tying up this series, and it would be 3 Slayers in a row FaZe losing it.
Camouflage no longer a factor in the map. You can see SnakeBite tried to be a little bit more proactive than Manny did in the past, but in the end, it was only really good for 1 kill. 4 kills now, all that's required for TSM to tie up this series. For FaZe Clan, they're in big trouble. They're going to try and hit the tower, 3-man push. Somehow, some way, a trade is given for TSM.
Surely TSM can't throw this one away now, right? Only 3 more required. Druk's in a position where he can capitalize on damage as well. SnakeBite's gonna fall victim, and now it's just about finding 1 more. It isn't quite there, but TriPPPeY's so vulnerable.
Down to no shields, trying to desperately stay alive, keep his back to the wall, and make sure he stays out of line of sight, but only 1 more kill required. Surely they can't throw this one away. All of FaZe Clan over towards tower in blue. Lucid is isolated, Lucid needs trouble. TriPPPeY falls though. And TSM tie us up. 1-1 here.
And you have to tip your hat to SoulSnipe, that man on your screen, because he really stepped up in that game when TSM truly needed it. If you had fallen 2-0 down here against FaZe Clan going into games 3 and 4, you might have been walking out of this building as top 12, but now there is a little bit of life brought back into this series for TSM. They can use this opportunity to take a little bathroom break, maybe just strategize a little bit and try and plan ahead to see just how they can take this Aquarius capture flag game that's coming up next. But here's the stats on your screen. There is the SoulSnipe game that I was talking about, but all round, I mean, an impressive game from TSM. No one really was a weak link. We saw, even though Manny doesn't have the stats there, but played an important role. Even though it was quite funny to watch him walking around with camouflage, watching his teammates die, but had he shot a little bit earlier, he probably dies as well. And just giving that extra little bit of information and being behind the enemy for that one moment, that one spawn, it kind of turned things in TSM's favor. So while statistically it's not going to be up there, there were still important plays being made.
Speaking of players who struggled in that Slayer, all eyes on TriPPPeY. Just the 4 kills and the 12 deaths. Did have 9 assists, so involved in a lot of gunfights, but his damage 600 less than the rest of his team. He's called Big Game TriPPPeY. Unfortunately, right now he's been found wanting, and he needs to bounce back himself as well as FaZe Clan.
Yeah, I don't think FaZe Clan will be too disheartened just because of how the Slayers have been going today and how they played in that first game. They know that objectively they seem to be a little stronger than this TSM roster, but my worry is with how they have been slaying TSM, I mean, they can just start to actually turn that into a little bit of objective work, maybe an extra flag cap or so here. They might find themselves 2-1 down here, FaZe, but at least they have the fallback. It's almost a safety blanket of Stronghold's live fire with how good they've been at Stronghold's live fire so far this season. But then if it does end up there at 2-2, suddenly you start to scratch your head a little bit and you're saying, hey, we could have another game 5 here. It's another Slayer, and we've lost 3 on the bounce on main stage here. Then you question where the mentals go here for FaZe Clan.
Taking a look at the elimination bracket, how things stand at the moment. As you can see on your screens, our featured match, FaZe Clan against TSM, still in the balance. Elsewhere though, Envy taking down Akave Esports 3-1. They push on. SSG take down Mindfreak. That's the end of the road for Australia. And they will be facing up against Luminon, who got the better of Unreal Nightmare in a clean sweep. There are no easy matches in this elimination bracket. It's dog eat dog down there, Dan.
Well, there's FaZe Clan fans of all ages in the audience here at the Halo World Championship, and they might be getting loud to support their boys on the main stage here in this next game, because suddenly TSM, they have the momentum alongside them. I will say, just touching on that bracket as well, I mean, massive congratulations to Mindfreak reaching top 12 at a Halo World Championship. Not something we've ever seen an Australian team do. Luminon versus SSG, loser goes home at top 8. That is two incredible teams who both have the potential, in my opinion, to push not just top 6, but top 4 as well. That is going to be a big, heavy hitter of a game in the elimination bracket.
And it's crazy, Dan, but just the way the pool's shaped out, Mindfreak can maybe count themselves rather unlucky to come up against SSG, a team that finished top 4 at Charlotte. They're playing them just to try and make it a top 8. Unfortunately, they fall by the wayside after giving it as good a go as they possibly could have. But back to our series on the main stage. FaZe Clan up against TSM. If you're just joining us, it's 1-1, and we're heading towards Aquarius capture the flag. TSM winning that Slayer, and like you say, Dan, momentum may be shifting a little bit on their side.
TSM do have a better record on Aquarius capture the flag, but we have seen FaZe play more of it. They're 3-4 at the moment so far this season, whereas TSM are 2-1. Players to look out for though, SnakeBite and Taulek. Now we've not necessarily mentioned SnakeBite and how good he is enough at what he does, because he's not always the one who stands out statistically. He's not always the one who's highest on the KD. Sometimes you get overshadowed by the likes of TriPPPeY who comes in, or Pznguin comes in objectively, but it's the consistency all round from a player like SnakeBite. You can trust him to do any job, whether it's just leading the team, being the captain that he is, being the general, whether it is doing the objective work. Sometimes he will be the one who steps up for the KD. But when it comes to CTF Aquarius, he seems to be the main man who really sets this team from the rest when it comes to this mapping mode.
There was a video package that we put out yesterday where FaZe Clan, SnakeBite's teammates, they were all talking about him, gassing him up, calling him essentially the perfect teammate and how much they love to play with him. We speak about it on the desk, we speak about it on the analyst desk. He is the perfect player to have in a position whenever you need to try and win a game. No matter what is required, SnakeBite can be, and most often is your man to do it. But CTF Aquarius on the horizon, with Game 4 looming large for TSM. This one is just as big as the last one, Dan.
Yeah, who is going to be the main man? Is it going to be Taulek? Is it going to be SnakeBite? SnakeBite averaging a 1.48 KD on CTF so far this tournament, which is certainly an impressive statistic line to go alongside his name. Taulek at 1.2 KD. Still pretty good considering the teams they've been facing up against each other. This game's going to be a reset though, so it's going to be a little bit more of a wait before these teams can get into Game 3 here. Now, capture the flag. We've seen Aquarius go in favor of FaZe Clan time and time again, and how many times have I spoke about Pznguin and the way he moves that flag? You know me, Shurs. I'm a flag runner. I've always has been. You take me back to Halo 1, Halo 2. I just love getting in that base, pulling a flag, and seeing how fast I can get it home. But you need the support from your teammates to do so. If you blink your TSM here, you see that flag move and it's Pznguin, it could be halfway across the map before you've even opened your eyes again.
And you think Dan might be joking about how affectionate he is when it comes to flag running. There was a montage put out from his team in Halo 3, and his teammates were hitting shots, no scopes. Dan's highlights were running flags in. So he is not kidding when he says just how much he appreciates a good flag runner, and Pznguin is exactly that. But Dan, perception is reality. Statistics don't lie, and you're saying this one's a close one, maybe just favoring TSM. Strongholds dominant for FaZe Clan. So we can theory craft and we can push our minds to Slayer Origin. And how oftentimes FaZe Clan find the answers, they find the response when they find themselves in these big matchups. And for TSM, they sometimes have the capability of falling apart.
Yeah, and I mean, TSM, Origin, Slayer, they have a better record than FaZe Clan when it gets to that Game 5 as well. So if they could just take one more here, it does kind of start to teeter their way a little bit, and then you start to think about the possibility of FaZe Clan eliminated at top 12, which is not something anyone would have had on their bingo card coming into this event. Especially considering the performances that FaZe Clan just had against Shopify Rebellion. But you think about the ups and downs of Halo Infinite. It is so hard to try and predict it. You spoke about pool play, and SSG are down in the elimination bracket. We've had the topsy-turvy games all season long. The entirety of Halo Infinite has been unpredictable. TSM, they take Optic to a Game 5 and then they get 3-0'd by Complexity, but now they're here against FaZe Clan, looking to try and push them as far as possible after FaZe just went to Game 5 with Shopify Rebellion. You'd be a brave person to try and call where this tournament's going to go, where this series is going to go.
For one of these teams, come the end of this series, there will never be VOD review. Your season is over. all the things you worked on building up to this point to try and be the difference maker. Whether it be an opening break, whether it be some clever way to grab a camouflage, it all comes down to this. Capture the flag on Aquarius will be our swing game in the series.
One of my favorite swing games to have as well, because it can be very back and forth. You think you're in control, you're a couple of flags up, and then just like that, someone steals a flag away, sneaks into your base, and they found a way back into the game. There's a lot about control and momentum here in Aquarius Capture the Flag as well. And of course, about the camouflage, which SnakeBite is going to have first dibs on. Flags out. The real question is, can SnakeBite find some enemies here?
Found one inside the engine. Oh, SoulSnipe spots him out. That flag was tossed out of his base. SoulSnipe forced to back away, down to no shields. FaZe Clan down 3 members. Although the opening break heavily favored them, and if there is going to be a criticism of FaZe, sometimes their opening exchanges on a map are not so good. And having said that, TSM threatening to push one in here and break the deadlock. We're opened up. TSM 1 to the good.
Now earlier I said there would be no thought whatsoever in FaZe Clan's minds that they would lose this series. They come into this one, the expectation, we win this one. It might not be a 3-0, but we should be progressing through this bracket. But one thing we've learned in Halo Infinite and at this tournament is you cannot count anyone out. The competition's so fierce. And TSM showing and proving exactly like that.
Taulek playing defense, firing out his window of the base. Rolling down the window, rolling it back up once he's got the kill. Desperately trying to stay alive here. Backs to the wall stuff for TSM, trying to hold after that initial break, after they got that flag capture. And SoulSnipe's going to venture forward now to the enemy base, and he's done this expertly now. It's going to be a real thorn in the side for those players to spawn up over towards Fridge. This is absolutely perfect from SoulSnipe. You force FaZe Clan to turn their guns towards home, and that just buys time for the teammates to push forward now.
I mean, SoulSnipe has been incredible all season long. The entirety of this game's lifespan, SoulSnipe always finds himself in a position where he can just make a difference. He's a player who is fantastic to watch. His movement around the map. Speaking of, it was all about Lucid. Remember year 1 of Halo Infinite, how he moved around the map. I almost find myself getting quite nostalgic about everything, with it being the last HCS Halo Infinite event. I think back of all the incredible moments we've had, and Lucid has been at the forefront of so many of them. And it is going to be a bitter end for either of these teams if they were to be eliminated, and it still feels so strange that we're saying one of them could finish top 12.
SnakeBite gets tied up by leveling grenade damage. Druk spots him out. SnakeBite has got teammates in assistance and in support. 3 dead for TSM. This flag's not on the move. SoulSnipe firmly placed top middle, crouched down, doing damage, stops this flag in its tracks, but only for a moment now. As SnakeBite, with the cover of camouflage, can get this thing moving. Just about gets it over the halfway point now. TSM have 4 guns on the map, and they're all pointed towards the flag now. They're in hot pursuit, and TSM could be about to get the stop here. FaZe Clan forced to put a stop to their movements.
Great patience though from SnakeBite. It's always difficult when you make that slide down, you decide not to run the flag in and the nade lands right on your feet. But the patience has worked out because now FaZe Clan have the flag, but there is 1 player remaining. How close is he? Not quite close enough, as TSM are not able to stop that flag, and FaZe do tie us up.
I think Manny might still be hiding back base. Happy to give that one up.
Yeah,
he goes. He didn't spot out Lucid. He gets back, didn't clear his corners. That's an easy, almost a gimme for Lucid. Taulek's position top middle. Lucid gets that information. Druk receives a little bit of damage, and he's forced to back away. Taulek then, bottom middle. This stop is good. 3 dead for FaZe Clan. But this game, it's nervy. Both teams may be feeling the weight of expectations.
I feel like Lucid had more time to do something with his life there. Last alive, got quite aggressive, but he had already seen no one was going to be really pushing behind him, so he probably could have waited just at the top and recovered his shields. You know, you can never really be too mad at aggression, because had he slid on through, was able to get a grenade and a kill, maybe touch that flag, could have been a different story. So hindsight is always 20/20.
TriPPPeY heads into the closet, clears out 1. Continues to drive forward. Gets behind Druk, but Pznguin didn't really need the assistance in the end. SoulSnipe behind enemy lines once more. He's been doing this time and time again. He slipped through. This time the difference though, FaZe Clan know exactly where he is. They're happy to leave him there and take this 4v3 up the map. A perfect kill for TriPPPeY. Druk answers back, and now SoulSnipe could become a bit of an issue. SnakeBite with the camouflage. Again, SoulSnipe tries to disappear. This time, unable to do so. SnakeBite with the camouflage will now send this one home. And FaZe Clan, barring a miracle, should be able to get this one in. Pznguin steps up to the podium, slams it home. 2-1 now for FaZe.
You cannot be allowing SnakeBite this much freedom, this much camouflage. If you give a player like this that kind of advantage where you are literally invisible on the map, you are going to get punished over and over again. His positioning is already good enough. You give him the freedom of walking around the map without being spotted, yeah, you're gonna struggle. So we need to see more setups from TSM, and whether that's just taking a little bit more time when that camo's coming up, perhaps positioning yourself in a different kind of spot. But you've also got to put it down to how FaZe have been playing. They've been timing their pushes excellently, and now TriPPPeY's running another flag.
Trouble on the horizon for TSM. They need to try and get the stop here. They're emptying their pockets. Grenades are landing at the feet of TriPPPeY, but he waits patiently for them to empty them. Taulek forced to back away from his engine, go front base instead. Take a different point of contact, a different line of sight. A couple of players get traded out. Pznguin and SoulSnipe fall. Taulek goes down. Numbers advantage now for FaZe Clan. And as they drive this flag forward once more, TSM do not appear to be in a situation to stop this one. Gunfire will come, grenades as well. Oh, and here comes the TSM push. But it's been delayed just enough. TriPPPeY slides home. TriPPPeY touches base. TriPPPeY safe. 3-1 the score.
That's what we like to see. Bravery when you need it as well. How many players would have been hesitant in that moment, worried that you send it in and you go down, but he trusted in his teammates, trusted in his position to get that flag in, and how important could it be for FaZe Clan in this game? They now have a little bit of a cushion here. A 2-flag lead, and then SnakeBite instantly turns offense into defense here.
5 minutes
Does get taken down, but he's able to stall and allow the rest of the team to spawn up so they can stop TSM from having too much control.
Lucid spots out one, gets a second on the SoulSnipe. Plasma Pistol does hit him, takes away his shields, makes him much weaker for Manny. Pznguin waits patiently top middle, does 1 ticket damage to Manny. Druk also lines into the crosshairs of the Pznguin. Manny forced to put a stop to this one, back away. There's so much presence on the map from Pznguin here. The issue is all of his teammates have fallen around him, and he desperately tries to stay alive here. Taulek heads back towards the base and gets the pick. This should be a response for TSM. Camouflage for Druk as well. SoulSnipe makes it up the shroom stairs. Waits patiently. SoulSnipe fires from base to base, from port to port. TriPPPeY is there. Grenades go down. SoulSnipe forced to wait. TriPPPeY slides in once more. Gets the touch, gets the pull. Keeps this one alive. And ensures SoulSnipe is not going to get this one in too comfortably. Pznguin gets the kill from top middle. This one's not done just yet. And FaZe are not willing to give it up when they're able to fight.
It's so scrappy at the moment, but FaZe are doing fantastically to shut down TSM. Every single time they send someone in, there is a member of FaZe waiting, and now Lucid tries to send it home here.
And TSM have got to be careful here, putting so much resources into this flag. 2 members of FaZe still positioned there. And now it's for someone on TSM to make the same play. They do. 3-2 the score. And a couple of slays go their way. 3 dead for FaZe Clan. So now all of a sudden TSM can take back control.
I mean, that was a lot of resources from FaZe Clan to try and stop that flag. A lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of map presence that was given up to try and keep that 2 flag cap lead here. And it means that TSM off the back of it, instead of suddenly being under pressure, they have the advantage again. They still have map control. Only 3 minutes left, and naturally now FaZe Clan have to turtle back because they have no presence on height. Pznguin's going to be the first target here, and he's going to get absolutely swamped. TriPPPeY tries to come out in support, but again, he's going to be called out, and now TSM looking to try and punish.
FaZe Clan are desperately trying to weather the storm. 3 go down. Pznguin was the first one back up off spawn. The flag is tossed out. Manny knows exactly where Pznguin is positioned, trying to anticipate when he's going to reveal himself. He does, but straight to SoulSnipe. We are about to have a tie game after FaZe Clan put themselves 2 to the good. TSM tie us up.
I mean, the amount of ups and downs we've had, not just in this series, but in this tournament so far, is insane. And it doesn't look like TSM want to slow down anytime soon. Druk's running another. SoulSnipe's taking down Pznguin. 3 are dead for FaZe Clan. And just like that, TSM are about to take a lead here.
A complete capitulation from FaZe Clan, allowing 3 flags go unanswered without reply. We spoke about how much resources they put in to try and make that stop. And it's come back to bite them in the backside, as now TSM 1 away from winning the game.
And I spoke about the bravery from TriPPPeY on the other side. It happened exactly the same situation for TSM when they were under the cosh there from FaZe Clan. Someone just was able to take the game by the scruff of the neck and throw that flag in. And the momentum that was projected off the back of it was insane for TSM. But now, how do you play this? You have the lead, you have 1 minute 45, but you have momentum. Do you try and close this one out with a flag of your own? Because if you start to back off, if you start to turtle up, it will invite that pressure to FaZe Clan, but that is a good denial of camouflage from Taulek, and he stays alive.
Vengeance bottom middle, grenade spins up, takes down his shields. Pznguin waits patiently, trying to spot him out, and he gets the kill. Pznguin is so good at that. We spoke about how good TSM are with a bit of confidence, with a bit of momentum. And you know they are starting to believe. FaZe Clan have been wobbled, they've been rocked. But this game's not over just yet, and they're the ones laying siege to TSM's base.
It was Morpheus who said it about Neo. He's beginning to believe, well, TSM may be beginning to believe that their road will not end here in Seattle. Maybe they can take down the giants of FaZe Clan. 55 seconds, and they might be able to find themselves at least up in this series. Whereas FaZe, what have they got left? What's the play call here? At the moment, they're just being swarmed over and over again. TSM hunting down FaZe Clan.
3 members of TSM all over on the same side of the map here, on this P side. And they're happy to hold what they have. Invite the pressure on. Lucid over towards the shrooms there, settles for a trade. But FaZe Clan have got to go here. 30 seconds is all that separates TSM from going up in the series here. 2 members of FaZe inside the enemy base. SnakeBite goes down. Pznguin's in massive trouble. And 2 members of TSM collapse from behind. Taulek gets a double kill and the killing spree. Time will run out. Time will dwindle down. And TSM will go up in the series here.
2 more seconds. No one's going to be able to touch this one. TSM suddenly find themselves a game away from sending home FaZe Clan at top 12. That was the most important game in this series, especially when you look at what's coming up in map 4 as well. Had TSM lost that one, I probably would have been writing them off and maybe sending them with their bags out myself. But now we have a good body series on our hands if we didn't already. And is there a little bit of a seed of doubt now planned in the minds of FaZe Clan here, where they start to think, oh crap, this could be the end of our season here. We could be rocking out a top 12, losing to TSM, who were knocked into the elimination bracket by complexity through pool play. As I said, there is still hope for FaZe going into map 4, with it being one of their better maps and modes.
Take a look at the stats and the damage then. You look towards Taulek, 31 kills, 14 deaths, and 12 assists. He is almost single-handedly at times, Dan, dragging TSM over the finish line. An incredible performance.
I mean, what a feeling to have a player like that on your team as well. When you can just turn and look and they're suddenly dropping 30+ kills, it gives you so much freedom on the map to kind of do whatever you want. You're like, well, I probably could make a pretty stupid push or a bit of a risk here because I know my teammate is absolutely frying at the moment. I've had the pleasure over the years competing back in the day of teaming with players like that, and it is such an incredible feeling when they are hot. And TSM are now rejoicing in that moment. They are loving everything that Taulek is putting down, but he's not doing it alone. The whole reason he can play like that is also the positioning that TSM are finding themselves in. The risky plays that are being made, the supporting gunfire from different angles. The communication just to say, yeah, Taulek, you are free to take that camouflage. Please go ahead and go wild with it. But now, can FaZe Clan find themselves on their best map and mode back into this series, or will we be thinking the unthinkable here going into this next one, that maybe FaZe Clan could be eliminated here?
The unthinkable is right. Looking at Pznguin, 20 Sundays made, the most of anybody, 16 Grand Finals appearances with a 2.05 average KDA. What an incredible player he is, and we might lose him at a top 12 stage at a World Championship.
It is all at risk. That is what is on the line here. And these players, these teams, they would have known it when they started this series, but I mentioned it. I think TSM would have been more worried going into this one than FaZe Clan, but as this series has gone on, the more kills that Taulek's got, the more caps that they've been able to find TSM, suddenly FaZe Clan maybe start to worry that what has been an impressive season, the rebuild of this team, could it fall flat right at the very end?
On board with Pznguin then. And his tournament life on the line, as are the rest of his teammates. And you know he desperately wants to get a world championship under his belt. The only player on this team without one. And the rest of his teammates, you know they want to try and secure one for him. And he might be one of the only players in history that is more deserving than Manny at the moment. He's been to so many grand finals. But it always seems to elude him. Lucid with sniper rifle. Taking control of C here. And he will turn his attentions over towards camouflage and provide some cover fire for his longtime duo in TriPPPeY. Druk will escape down bottom middle and head back to house. And this should mean an easier camo grab for FaZe Clan.
I mean, it has to be a camo grab here. With the lead that TSM currently have, you can't afford to give up camo as well. So Lucid has a lot of responsibility to be hitting this shot, but you can't watch every angle. Desperately trying to at the moment, listening to those call-outs, trying to watch top middle and camouflage at the same time. But it's so difficult, and TSM may be trying to bait it here. Maybe trying to send someone top middle so that then someone else can go for that camo.
And TSM, like you say, using it as bait, and perfectly so, because they're scoring all whilst this fight doesn't happen. Prolonging this fight, prolonging this engagement means more and more points. And for FaZe Clan, they get the camouflage, sure, but the sniper rifle now falls. Manny scoops that one up. Pznguin goes back tower, and he's trying to desperately get away here. Got taken down to no shield by Manny, but C now taking control for TSM. This is a perfect start for TSM.
And as a reminder, FaZe Clan have not lost this map and mode all season long. They're 5-0, whereas TSM, they are 2-6. But it looks like they've been practicing it. It's an incredible lead, but it is still very early stages here in Strongholds. We know how back and forth it can be with a little bit of momentum, but Manny gets the stick, almost gets the melee, would have been massive for them. But FaZe Clan will continue to score here, even though Druk's picked up a double.
Our statistics almost irrelevant in this game. Are we playing purely on field and emotions? And no team is feeling themselves more in this series than TSM at this current moment. A and B in control, they will lose C, but they will care little about that. They will continue to score and continue to apply pressure to FaZe Clan.
Again, SoulSnipe is everywhere. You turn around, you look around the corner, SoulSnipe's waiting there, probably with a smile on his face with how he's playing at the moment. And FaZe Clan, no matter where they turn, no matter where they look, there is a gun set right on their heads. And TSM are just dominating at the moment. FaZe Clan need to stop this bleeding immediately.
2 members go down for TSM. Maybe a chance for FaZe Clan to catch their breath. As I say that, Lucid does fall, so that means the task at hand, not as easy as it perhaps would have been had they still had that player on the map, still had that gun firing. Pznguin desperately tries to get away, needs help from TriPPPeY, and he comes and secures it, but is settled for a trade with SoulSnipe. Pznguin has a sniper rifle, but somehow, some way, TSM are still in control of A and B. And every single time FaZe Clan get one, they lose another.
This sniper rifle has not had the impact that FaZe Clan would have wanted. They've prioritized it, they've made sure they've found a position where they can keep that sniper rifle player alive, but TSM have been able to score all the meanwhile. 4 go down for FaZe Clan again. And little by little, TSM are chunking away at FaZe Clan's chances of getting back into this game.
Are the wheels about to come clean off of FaZe Clan here? Backs against the wall. Down 125 points, it's climbing pretty rapidly. They just cannot seem to be able to catch it. The pace at which TSM are playing at, FaZe are struggling hard here.
TSM, an incredible pace of their play at the moment, and I'm sure they are starting to feel themselves and the excitement flowing through their veins. Let's jump into a quick listening with TSM and just see what those comms are like.
He got me. Dead.
One tower. Tower weak, Tommy. I'm gonna die here at tower, guys. I died at tower. GG still Tommy's tower with combo. Tommy C with combo.
Watch out.
Nice. I'm trying to watch you, Druk.
They don't have snipe though.
Yeah. White wall and nest. Nice.
No, smash.
Cement weak. Nice. Try to be pillars.
Okay, I'm on 30.
Pillar door.
Yeah, live. Hold on.
Three dead.
Are we pushing this?
Yeah, we should kill this guy. There's one.
Yeah, I'm watching, guys. He could hit the jump. Yeah, he's gonna get out. He's right here. Watch out. Watching top.
Yeah, they're gonna come left, cut side.
One's here.
One shot, nade. Yeah, one's in A, weak tower, Druk.
Camo.
And A play. Bigger in A. Nice. One bigger, Druk. One bigger.
Yo, we're pushing. Yo, he's bottom it.
Camo is
Druk is on fire, and TSM are definitely feeling themselves. They can almost taste the next round. FaZe Clan on the brink of elimination. Expect the unexpected at the Halo World Championship. What on earth is happening on our screens here, Shirts?
The weight of expectation, the moment almost getting away from FaZe Clan. TSM have been relentless, unstoppable at times, and they always seem to have a player in the right spot, but all of a sudden FaZe Clan do seize control. But this has got to be an incredible hold from FaZe. They have got to find a response here.
And there is always going to be a but when it comes to strongholds. There is always that what if. What if TSM slip up? If they give FaZe Clan just an inch, you know full well they will take that mile. And even though it looks like a long old road back into the game right now, FaZe Clan are definitely capable of it. It's definitely not over yet, but TSM are still looking like they're in the ascendancy at the moment. 3 go down for FaZe Clan. More points now for TSM.
Yet another triple cap. Yet another snipe rifle going to fall in the hands of TSM. They've lost a couple of members, but Manny pops the shields. And now they can just wait. SnakeBite takes a peek outside, doesn't like the weather, steps back inside once more. That snipe rifle just enough of a warning sign. Pznguin elsewhere has been taken care of. Traded out. SnakeBite loses his face. Lucid gets his skull ripped from his neck.
Manny lets roar as well because he knows how huge that is for TSM. FaZe have maybe one last push, one last attempt of staying in this tournament. Their Halo Infinite history is on the line here, and they know full well they are on the brink of elimination. 10 more seconds here for TSM.
FaZe Clan on the ropes, desperately trying to duck in cover, trying to get the chin away from the punches, but TSM keep on swinging. Manny, top nest, A and B in control once more, waiting patiently. FaZe Clan step in, FaZe Clan step out. They're going home, and TSM will march on.
Absolutely speechless. FaZe Clan eliminated at top 12. The historic run of Pznguin and his championship Sunday is suddenly ripped away by a TSM who just seem to be hot and cold right now. Which TSM do you face? Well, sadly for FaZe, they faced the TSM that were absolutely on fire, and they will progress into top 8 a little bit further into this bracket. But what a bitter end that is for FaZe Clan and the incredible Halo Infinite career that all 4 of those individuals have had. And you can see the scenes on your screens. It's going to be a tough couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of years, months for these boys, because that is an incredibly disappointing ending to Halo Infinite for them. But for TSM, we have to tip our hats. Unbelievable. Not only to take down FaZe, but to do it on Stronghold's live fire, which has seemed to be such a comfortable thing for FaZe Clan. TSM, they move on.
Dejection on that main stage for Lucid. Elation for TSM. A dominant display on Stronghold's live fire when FaZe Clan were 5-0. We spoke about what FaZe Clan were you going to see after that Game 5 gutting loss to Shopify Rebellion. TSM take full control.
That's one of the craziest series that I've seen in terms of like the prestige of this event, the expectations of these teams. With how teams have been playing so far, they've just taken Shopify Rebellion, FaZe, to Game 5 in winners bracket round 1, losing out on the Slayer, pretty close as well, and then suddenly being eliminated at top 12. We're going to have a lot of upsets here at this tournament, I can already feel it.
It's beggar's belief. I mean, we spoke about what version of TSM are you going to see? The one that goes to Game 5 without the gaming, or the one that gets clean swept by complexity? What we seen in that stage was an incredible performance from TSM and from Druk and Taulek, it has to be said, but Blaze has an interview with Druk. Take it away, fella.